Hey, what's up everybody? Hey, I just got back, well actually, got back a week ago from Lake Mead from the US Open and had an awesome tournament. It was leading day one, finished up in third place. Just doing a quick recap while I'm still in my boat. I'm actually at the C&C Modesto dealership here, just dropped off my boat. It's gonna be for sale as of right now and ordered up the new one. So real quick, you guys, Lake Mead, everybody knows it's a big, huge lake. It can be a really tough fishery, and my practice, I had 4 days of practice, and I just basically wanted to see the whole lake in 4 days. I really just drove around, you guys. I drove around, just looked for bait. I did not have a spinning rod in my hand. I really just wanted to go for it and fish my strength, and that was just fish fast, power fish. I didn't even throw a worm in practice. I ran around the lake, covered every arm and threw reaction baits, and the conditions in practice were really favorable for top water. And I was also throwing a vibrating jig with a Zaco on the back of it, Yamamoto Zaco. My top water that I threw in practice, basically this one right here. This has been my go-to all year. This exact color. I mean, I have tore them up on this year. This is a River to Sea. Check that out. That's 128 Rover right there. Man, it's been blasted. Look at the chrome's peeled off of that. But basically in practice, threw that all over, just searching for fish. I had no hooks on it, no hooks on my vibrating jig. Basically shook every fish off in practice. I think I stuck a couple, and the couple that I did stick in practice were on the Yamamoto Fat Baby Craw, just like that. And I had one nice 4-pound smallie in practice. Shook a couple really good ones off on that. I have another one rigged up with no hook, and in that clear water it's really easy to see the fish, so I could give them a bite, reel up real fast, and just kind of hold them pressure until I could see the fish, and then I know what I'm catching. And Lake Mead, it's really important. You don't want to pressure your areas, and those fish after getting beat up for 2 weeks, they're getting really finicky. And then another thing I was doing, and obviously everybody knows I'm G-Rig. That's my favorite umbrella rig that I throw, and this is the Desert Rig. It's really cool. It's made for, as you can see, this one's already been, it's been worn out. I designed this one just specifically for Mead and Lake Havasu, with kind of a smaller profile rig. And in those lakes, you're only allowed 2 hooks, so it really funnels those fish to those last 2. These are high-end components, lightweight, the wire's really flexible, so when I give that rod that little slight twitch, and it makes it look real, like it's pulsating through the water. Day one, obviously, conditions change, just like every tournament. And it's like Mead, conditions change. We had this huge cold front coming through. It's not cold, but for desert it is, and the water temp drops about 5-6 degrees. Wind comes up, it's blowing. Actually, they canceled the first day of the tournament, so actually the second day is the first day. It's north wind blowing, we got overcast. It looks like a storm's coming in. I get out there, I pull up to the first spot, pull in the cove, bomb out that vibrating jig with that Zaco, nothing. Bomb out the Fat Baby Craw, nothing. Make a few casts with a rig, and I think I threw a cast with the Rover real quick, just in the back of the cove, nothing. Flip around to the next one. I do the same thing. Hit it. I fire one cast with that vibrating jig with that Zaco right down the center. Boom, I get my first keeper. It's not big. It's a 190, but for Lake Mead, that's a good start. I'm like, cool, I got one. That's a good start. And there's a larger bay cove area in that area that I always tend to fish. I didn't practice in there. I just said, you know what, if I found fish in practice in the area, I'm gonna fish that, so I'm not even gonna go in there and practice. I went in there, again, rotating through all my arsenal here, pick up the rig as I'm going around a steep bank with a little rock point. Boom, get another keeper, small one. Turn to the next bay, boom, get one almost 4 pounds. It's a huge one for me. I think that might have been the second biggest one on the pro side caught in the whole tournament. All of a sudden my wheels are spinning, look at the sky, look at the wind, all the conditions are pointing towards this. Now in practice I had some bites on it. I actually caught a couple fish. I had some followers follow this, but it was really hard because I lost stripers, and I thought maybe this is something I'd have to do all day to get 2 or 3 decent bites. Within about an hour, I think I had a dozen fish on this really quick. I mean, they were just destroying this rig. And by the end of that day, I ended up just throwing this, that's all day long. I put everything away. I just had this rig on. By the end of the day, I think I had 25 keepers, and I was leading the US Open day 1 on the G rig. You know, day 2, of course day 2, I start out same area. I go back to where those big ones were, and I have my non-boater. It's a shared weight competition. If you guys don't know the US Open, the non-boater, I have a rod and a rig and everything ready for him. His first bite is 2 3.5 pounders. They both jump, one comes off. We got a 3.5 pounder to boat, start the day. That's amazing. You know, then here comes my crybaby story. I continue to go down, lost a few big ones, had a 4 pounder eat this thing right at the boat. You know, wheels are spinning at that point and thinking about losing the US Open. It's only 8 o'clock and I'm already panicking. About 10 o'clock I really start panicking because I've only got 4 keepers. Now, remember, one's a 3.5 pounder, but I also have 3 small, very small keepers. I'm talking 1 pounders or 0.90s. And I looked at my co-angler and I said, you know what, man, I'm not gonna just sit out here. I'm in the back of the Overton arm. Just let you know, I'm in the very back of the Overton. I'm not gonna sit out here and not fill this limit and not bring home and not fall out of the top 10, because this is a big payback on this tournament. So I pull up the trolling motor, 11:30, make a big gamble, run 40 miles back all the way up into Temple Bar, pull out my favorite crawdad for Temple Bar, right here, the Yamamoto Fat Baby Craw. First cove I go to, boom, stick like a 160 something. Just start hopping coves, caught 5 keepers, culled out those other fish. I'm good, I got a nice weight. I look at the clock, I decide, you know what, man, I gotta make a big move. I really did, and so I ran all the way to the wash. And now everybody goes, man, all you do is drive. No, I was going to where I had the biggest fish possible that I could go to, and I hadn't fished the wash the first day. The Overton was shut down, run all the way to the wash, pull up there, first cast, boom, bites this baby craw, the hook's full over the hook, I reel up, it's a 2.5 pound largemouth. I'm like, no! And I continue to fish over there. I culled a couple fish, saw a couple decent, I saw one smallie 3 pounder, chased my bait up to the boat. And you know, that was pretty much the end of the tournament. I don't really have any regrets. You know, I guess I don't have any regrets. I fished my butt off. I did the best that I possibly think I could, and I just couldn't get it done. You know, I've ended up in 3rd. It's the closest I've been at the US Open to the top there. I feel really confident in Mead now. That's 3 good tournaments in a row I've had. And I can't wait to go back for next year. There's another tournament coming up in February that I'm looking forward to at Lake Mead. And until then, we're just waiting on the new boat to show up. And if you guys, a couple key things for me. Not only was this 21-foot Ranger awesome to ride in the waves, but that Evinrude G2 here, let me take you over there. That Evinrude G2 has like that extra torque power to push me over those waves and jump over to the next one, this baby right here. And I'll tell you what, if it wasn't for that, man, I saved so much time flying across that lake. And for all you guys that don't think you need power poles on Lake Mead, yeah, keep thinking that. Because when I pull up to a flat and the wind's blowing 30 miles an hour into it, yeah, everybody's got that cool trolling motor that has a GPS on it and holds it down. But when you need to put the back of the boat and your back to the wind, you put those down, you don't want that thing thrashing around and moving side to side. These power poles, man, they saved my butt. And there was a few times that I wouldn't have caught those fish if I didn't have these holding me steady on those flats and in those bays. So anyways, we'll see. I gotta go. See you next year, see you next time. You guys enjoy fishing, winter's here. Don't forget to buy some G-rigs, and you might want to pick up some Fat Baby Craws too. I was almost done. This guy wanted to come sneak over here. And
I want to see what baits he's got on there. River Sea Rover, of course. What is that, little craw?
Fat Baby.
And the A-rig.
No, the G-rig.
Oh, the G-rig. That's
the
right,
G-rig.
G-rig.
The
How much
G-rig.
catch on it?
About 30, 35
yeah,
keepers.
Obviously. Look at the freaking wires on this thing.
That's day 1 leader right there.
Day one leader.
Day 1 leader right there.